Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. With all good things that are already out there, a good source of reference is really important. So here you can see PureRef, and I've just found these images online, of course, and these are the ones that I've sourced just to help me along with understanding the model overall and the shape. So the top left ones are officially from Bethesda, I believe. So these are licensed items. They're really nice, actually, really lovely. They're metallic, but the detail is slightly less than I probably would have preferred. Because if you start looking online, you can see these are the in-game versions, actually. The Nuka Taper, or Tapper. I don't know how you pronounce that. Here are some 3D print projects that people have made and made available for sale. So I took some of those images as reference as well. There's one thing that you'll notice here, that this one's a really nice clean model. And you notice there's different details depending on which one you're looking at. So, for example, this one over here, I've got this nice detail on one side and this other type of detail on the flip side. Whereas you look at this one over here, it's got that style there and in fact this style there on the other side. So you can see it's quite different. But anyway, a little bit of creative license, I think, is what we need. So that's what I did on my version as well. So with that out of the way, this is my initial file. It's actually version 9 of my test file. So what I've done here is, from left to right is where I started, and this is where I ended up. So if I just come and zoom into here, this is the final-ish model that I made. Give you an idea of where I started from. So you can see here, I started with the cylinder there, a circle I should say, not a cylinder. This one's 32 sides, and I used that as a starting point. So I'll just quickly flow along here. You can see the progress I've made and the bits that I've worked on, or parts of the model that I made, and I went back. For example, after this part I worked on this bit, then I went back to this, made a few changes to that, then I went back to this, and then I made a screw there, back to that part, and then I made some holes, or the panels that are underneath there, these ones here, these slots or whatever they're called, indents. That's what these are. And I transplanted those into the model once I had that made. That's how I did that. Then I started adding more detail into the actual model. So you can see here we've got the holes for the screws now. We've got this part here, and we've got this little kind of notch on either side. You can see they're part of the screw, additional screw that I made in a quarter and then rotated around. So yeah, I'll take you through each step of this, how I made this anyway. Feel free to adapt your process or techniques to do whatever you think works better to get the same result or a similar result. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to leave this open actually on the same monitor, and so that I can refer to this as I go along. So as I said, we'll start off with a circle, 32 vertices, and then we'll create this shape from that circle. So let's start off with that, and let's jump over into Blender. Okay, so here we are in a fresh scene in Blender. I'm using Blender 4.3.2, but this is just the modeling stage, so I think any version of Blender is more than adequate for this stage of the model making. So let's delete the default cube. Sorry about that. And I've already saved my file there. To make it easier, hit Ctrl S. So the first thing we want to do is add a reference image. So I'm going to tab number 7 on the numpad to switch to the top view. And from here, I can press Shift A, select image, reference. And I'm going to navigate to this image here. And I'll try to remember to put a link in the description where you can find these. I'm going to select this image and load it. And there it is. The other thing I'm going to do at this stage is reduce this down to the same size as the one I've done previously. I've copied that value and just paste that into here. And you can see there it's a scale of 0.04572, or something close to that. It's fine as well. That's the scale I'm going to work to. It's not 2 meters by 2 meters. With that done, let's drag our empty outside of the collection we have there, the default collection. And with the filter system here, make sure you turn on this little arrow, which enables selectable or not selectable. So I'm going to enable that and then turn off the selectability of that object. So now we can no longer select it. Of course, we can select it in the outliner anyway. And with that done, you can select it and go to the data properties for that reference image, turn on opacity. I'm going to turn this down to something like 0.15. So you can see it, but it's not too strong. Now I will be using my add-on for this, BB Toolkit Pro. Link in the description if you want to learn more. But this enables you just to quickly add things and do things in Blender that you would normally do with Shift-A, perhaps to add something, or add modifiers, render options if you need that, add lights, 3-light setup, that kind of stuff. So it just makes it a little bit easier for me and quicker. I'm going to add a circle, and there it is. It's quite large, obviously 2 meters by 2 meters, and it's got 32 segments or vertices. That's okay to start off with, so I'm going to scale this down by pressing S. I'll bring that down and then move that to this area there. I'm just going to concentrate on this recessed area here. Let's make that a little bit larger, like so, and something like that. Now, we've modeled this, we've scaled this in the object mode. That now means that our scale is not non-uniform, but it's not 1, 1, 1 anymore, as you can see there. And we really want this to be 1, 1, 1. Otherwise, it could cause issues later on with things like bevel modifiers or beveling, even just edit meshing. So let's apply the scale. I'm going to click here on my add-on to do that, because that warns you in real time. If you haven't got the add-on, no worries. Just press Ctrl A. That will bring up the apply menu. We can select apply scale. You can see that that's turned off now. If we go to here, it's 1, 1, 1. So with that one done, that's fine. That's in our collection there. Let's rename that actually to Holotape. I'm also going to create another collection and just bring that outside of the holotape. I'm going to call that back up. So drag that so it's there. Make sure holotape is selected, not backup. So every time we add something, it's going to add it into this holotape collection. Let's rename this to base for now. Let's copy that, duplicate this shape with Shift D, and then right click or press escape to snap it back into place. S for scale, and I'm going to bring that out about there. Again, I've done this in object mode. We need to apply the scale. You can see there it's warning us that scale is non-uniform. I'm going to press Ctrl A and hit scale, apply the scale. Let's tab into edit mode. And if you're tabbing, by the way, you don't see the pie menu. That's because I've turned that on in the preferences. We go to preferences, key map, tab for pie menu. And that's what enables, as the name suggests, pie menu. So let's tab into edit mode. Select vertices in the top left there, or press 1 on the keyboard. And what I'm going to do is select these vertices just here and delete those. Yeah, let's delete those. We now have a gap there. We're going to select this one and this one. Press E to extrude, Y for the Y axis to constrain it along that axis. I'm going to move that point just about there. Just around that area there. We can bring this one into line with that one, but rather than trying to eyeball it, it won't be precise or exact. What I'm going to do is turn on vertex snapping, but I've already done that there. It should be increment or grid by default, but it's increment. Let's select vertex, and if we click on this green arrow, hold down the control key, and by doing that, the control key will invoke the snapping operation, move the mouse pointer over another vertex, and it will snap like that. Now we can connect these two. I would think pressing J to connect these would work, but it doesn't. That only works when you have geometry in place, faces. So to do that, press the F key. That will create an edge between these two vertices. And with that done, we can select this vertex now, press Ctrl Shift and B, and that will invoke vertex beveling. And if I drag my mouse, we now get a bevel like so. If we scroll the mouse wheel, of course, we can increase the segments. I'm going to go with 5. So now we've got that shape. Quite a simple shape to make. Now at this point, what I did was, I believe I copied this. We're going to Shift D and drag that over to this one. Like that. We're going to tab back into edit mode, select these vertices here, hold down Shift and select this one here maybe, up to there. It's okay. We're going to press delete, vertices. And we just want to straighten this one out so it's level, like these two we want to straighten out. It's straight along this side here. But to do that, with those two selected, I'm going to press S for scale, X to constrain it left and right, and then 0 on the keyboard, and then enter. That will flatten them out just like that. And again, I can hold down Control as I move that to snap to there. Cool. Let's do the same with this one. Let's extrude that out. We're going to select this one, E to extrude, Y for the Y axis. I'm going to hold down Control and snap it along in line with that vertex there. Do the same again, E to extrude, Y, hold down Control, snap it to there. And we could select all of these and duplicate them, Shift D, right click, then scale. You could do it like that, and then move these like so. Let's go with that, actually. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Something like that. We need to select these two vertices. Let's bring them in line with those two there. You should know how to do that by now. You can see it's snapping there. I'm going to select these two as well, and bring those in line with those. That will do for now. We've got a nice curve there. Perhaps a little bit too detailed, but nothing to worry about. Now we've got that. In fact, while we're here, let's go back into edit mode and join these as well. So select these two vertices, press F to create an edge between them, like so. We can do the same with these actually. Press F to create an edge. Now we've got our guidelines there for this one. Now we've got 3 objects here. We've got the original base object, and we made a copy that named it 001 and 002. Let's select these 3, Shift D, right click, let's drag them into the backup collection. Now we've got a copy of those in case I mess this up anyway, which I can do and probably will. I'm going to turn off the backup collection now. We don't need to see that. It's just there simply as a backup. So let's turn that off. Now let's select this one, hold down Shift, select this one to select more than one. And last object to select is this one, the original base. It's the last object because it goes yellow, not orange. With that done, we can press Ctrl J to join objects. Ctrl J, that would join these 2 objects to the last one we selected. Let's select that object now and go into edit mode. I select this vertex and this one. Now they should be aligned. If they're not, I'm just going to select these 4. Constrain it on the Y and snap it to there, just to make sure it's in line with that one there. Then select this one and press F to create an edge. We can do the same with this one here and this one there. Press F to create an edge. That's going to create the shape of that component of this object. And we've got a few more things to do here. Let's select this object, tab into edit mode, and we want to make this a bit rounded here and also just there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this one. You could do both at the same time. I'm not sure it would work as well here. Let's select this vertex, and like we did up here in this area, we're going to do Control Shift and B to bevel. So Control Shift and B. I'm going to make that 3 segments. In fact, let's make, let's go with 3. Like that. That probably, you can see that one in the bottom right there is hitting that other vertex and then stopping. I want to make it so that it stops pretty close to it. I zoom in, you can see I've just stopped short of that. You could try and make that a little bit larger. It doesn't seem to go anymore, so let's make that there where it was. It's as close as it will get at this point. And you can also click on clamp overlap, but let's not worry about that. So that's fine, but we need to merge these two together. I'm going to select this one first, one we just made. Select this one second and press M, merge at last. Like that. So now we've got a bit of a curve in that area. Let's try and do the same here. So let's do Control Shift and B. It does work obviously, but we've got some tidying up to do. I'm going to go about there. And let's go with that. Obviously that's created faces as well, which we don't want. And it's also created some vertices we don't need. So let's start merging some of these. I'll select this one first, that one second, M, merge at last. Do the same there, like that. And I'm going to take these ones and just press delete, vertices. In fact, we'll undo that for a second. Let's address this bit here. Let's merge these here at last. We really don't need these at the moment. Let's select these ones here and press Control Delete. Now Control Delete is going to the same as pressing delete and then selecting dissolve whichever vertices or whatever. But this one just does whatever you've selected. So I'm going to hit Control Delete to dissolve those vertices. And you can see there we've got almost overlapping. So I'm going to select that one first, that one second, press the M key, merge at last. So what I'm going to do is select this, well, select these two vertices, right click and subdivide. That gives us another vertex just there. Let's start filling in some of this now and see how we go. First of all, I'm going to select this one and just move it around somewhere like that. And in fact, do we even need that one actually? We could put it there. But anyway, let's leave it there for now. I think I'm going to go back and fix this. No worries. Let's start by selecting this area here. And I'm going to press F to create an edge. Right now, let's just fill that with an N-gon. We'll come back to this in a moment. Let's select this edge, press the F key, and continue as far as it will go. It stops there again because it's now hit another pole. We've got an edge here and an edge there. So let's select these manually, press F. Let's continue by pressing F on this edge here. Oops, not the S key, F key. And see how far that goes. You can see it's decided to go all the way up there, which makes sense because there's no other vertex near this one. But we don't want that, so I'm going to press undo and leave it there. Let's select this edge, all the boundary edges that make up this area, and press the F key. That will create a large N-gon again, of course. And we're going to do the same, switch to vertex mode. It's going to create where we can try selecting all of these edges here, like so, and see what happens if we try to fill it by using the F key. We're going to select all of these edges, hold down Shift and select these, like that, and press the F key. And that worked pretty well. Now we've got that shape. Yes, it's an N-gon. Let's not worry about that for now. We can sort that out further down the line. Let's turn our attention to this part here. We're going to select this edge here, press the C key, that brings up the selection brush. You can use the mouse wheel to change the size of that selection brush. Now if you left click, you add to the selection. If you middle mouse click, you take away from the selection. I'm going to select all of these edges there, right click to escape our selection brush, and press the F key. Now let's do the same for all of these edges here and create a large base N-gon that's there. Let's hold down Alt and click there. And deselect this edge by holding down Shift, deselect that one. Now we want to select all of these edges here. I'm going to use the C key again, selection brush, C for selection brush. And we have that. And might as well select these two as well. Now, will it fill this and work if I press the F key? Yeah, it did. So now we've got our shapes defined. So what we're going to do here now is this triangle is not going to work for us. So I'm going to switch to edge mode. Let's use the knife tool to help Blender along with this part here. We want to press the A key for angle. Now we can go straight down and click on this last edge like that, and then press enter. And that will make a cut straight down the middle. Let's select that edge now and try and dissolve it. Control delete. Now that's worked without any issues, which is great. Let's try something which won't actually work now because I don't think it will work. Let's try. If I select this face here and if I press delete, only faces, very important. We want to keep these edges here, right? Let's select these edges here. Use the C key again, selection brush. I want to select these edges here. I want to see if I right click now and do bridge edge loops, if that's going to connect them in a sensible way. Let's give it a go. Right click, bridge edge loops. Fantastic. Thank you, Blender. It worked. And let's tidy up. Oops, go into edit mode, switch to vertex mode. I want to join these two here, pressing J. In fact, let's use the knife tool actually. Let's press K, the knife tool. And I'm going to go, there's so many ways to do this. Let's try and go, well, first of all, let's click on this one here and press the A key. That will invoke angle snapping. Click on this edge here and right click, enter. We've got a nice cut there now. Let's do the same up here. So press K for the knife tool. And with that selected, press I to inset and give it a small. Yeah, let's go for, go with that. That looks okay. So you can see there we now have a support loop going around the whole perimeter of the shape. This n-gon isn't really a problem anymore because it's sitting on a flat surface and it's not on the edges. So even if this triangulates this way or that way, whether the triangle goes this way or this way, it doesn't make a difference. Okay, so that would work here, wouldn't it? If we put a cut there, just imagine for a moment we put a cut here. Yes, you can see there. Now we've got quads. Let's go back to selection and press the K key. In fact, let's select these edges actually. Select this edge and this edge. And right click and do subdivide. That will put a curve, an edge in the middle. And we're also going to select the knife tool with K. Select this vertex here. And then click Anywhere here will do. Roughly in the middle. And click over here, right click, select this one again, click there, and snap to that vertex there, and right click, and then enter. Now we need to just make this a little bit more rounded, because that is no longer rounded. You can move vertices or edges. I'm going to select these and bring them in a little bit like that. Preferences, if I just show you what that looks like. Select and search for loop tools. There it is, enable it, save preferences, and you're good to go. What you can do with that is we're going to select this vertex, hold down shift, select these, and this one last. So basically where the curved area is. So think of this one as your start point, as your end point. Just delete that, back to selection, and with those selected, we can right click, loop tools, and space. This is not the final frontier, this is just spacing out some vertices. Ta-da! But we've got to tidy these up as well. Let's select these and do the same thing. I'm going to right click, loop tools, and space. So back into Blender, let's tab into edit mode. Let's work on this part here first. So let's go into face select, select this face, and the first thing I'm going to do is select, just go to the top view, it's 7 on the numpad. I'm going to select, not select, that face selected, press I for inset. Now we've got that selected. Rather than selecting these manually, the ones around it, we can press Control plus, Control, hold down Control, press plus on the numpad. That will grow the selection. Now we've got that. We could split this off and move it down. What I'm going to do instead is press the extrude key, which is E. And you can see that's going up and down on the Z axis. I'm going to bring that down, something like that. Obviously that's created a face there, which we don't need. Let's delete that face. Well, let's actually tidy this up as well, because we still have a very large n-gon there. Okay, let's turn our attention to this part here. Let's tab into edit mode and let's select edges and alt click this one here. Go to top view and press F to fill. We've got a large n-gon here now. And press E to extrude and bring it down. Perhaps something like that. Right, in face select now, let's select that face, the n-gon in the middle. Gosh, my mouse wheel is a bit sticky there. And let's press I for inset. Give that a small inset. With that done, let's select that face, still select it and delete it. Now we've got a hole just in there. In edge select mode, alt click to select the loop cut. And what we're going to do now, switch to the top view just so we can see it in action. I'm going to head over to face, menu, and select grid fill. Now we've got a grid fill there, but that's fine, we can leave it like that. But I know we can do better and we can get this lined up horizontally and vertically just by clicking on the offset in the bottom left, just there. If I click, increase that to 1, 2, we now have the offset going straight across like this. And this looks like a sphere, but it's just an optical illusion, actually a flat surface in a grid. That's pretty cool. Now we've got all these quads in here as well. So unless I'm mistaken, all of this is now quad based, which is a good start. I'm not really liking the fact we don't have more subdivisions here, make it an even geometry, but we can tidy this up actually. And I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. Let's select these vertices here. So again, think of that as your start point. That's your end point. right click, loop tools and space. Yeah, it's not pretty, but I don't think it really matters at this point for this. Let's select that one there. I'm going to hold down Control and click over here. That will select the shortest path between those 2 points. And with that done, that's not even straight, is it? Let's select all of these. Press S for scale, Y axis, 0, enter. That's now flat, and let's move that. It might be slightly off. Let's just snap it to that one there, like that. Okay, with that done, let's select that one. Hold down Control, select that, make a selection, right click, loop tools and space. That's better. I'm much happier with that. We could actually line these up as well with that one. These are all straight on this edge, so they don't have to be at this angle. Let's straighten all of these out. Like that. Nice. And we could space these out as well. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's select these at the top there. Right click, loop tools and space. And select these ones here. Loop tools. So for now, I'm just going to press Ctrl R, add a loop cut here and drag it somewhere there. Like that. Just want to make sure that's flat because it's not. You can see it's not flat there. S for scale, Y, 0, enter. That will do. Now if you like, it might be a good idea. You can actually do Ctrl R here. Just add more loop cuts. You get squares. Something like that. If you really want to, you don't have to. And you can do the same here. You can do Ctrl R. Anyway, for now, let's just put a loop cut about there. And this edge probably should have been a bit more curved. Right, so that's really good. And that pretty much completes this part. Not completely, of course, but we've got the main shape done. So that's really cool. Now let's add a mirror modifier and give it some thickness. Now, if we add a mirror modifier through modifiers, of course, here, and click generate and mirror, select the Z axis, not the X. We want it to mirror up and down. We get this effect, which is not what we want. That's because the origin point for this object is right on the world origin point there, on that flat plane. We need to move the origin point or the geometry, either or, to give it some thickness. What I'm going to do is select the object, tab into edit mode, and press A to select everything. And if you start moving these up, we now have thickness to our model. Let's go with something like that, maybe. A bit chunky, but that's pretty cool. Now we have that. Just need to give the sides some geometry now. And that's really easy. Let's tab back into edit mode, select edge mode in the top left there, or press 2 on the keyboard. And if we ignore the mirror modifier for a moment, we hold down Alt and click anywhere on the outside or near the outside. You will select the boundary edge loop, like that. And we will get a weird thing going on here because we've got a vertical edge. But we'll come to that in a second. For now, let's just select all of these boundary edges. And press E to extrude. That, of course, goes in every direction your mouse moves. Press Z to restrict it to the Z axis. And I should have turned the mirror modifier on actually. I moved it down a little bit there, you can see. Let's turn clipping on now. If I move these like that, they just snap to the middle because we've got clipping on. If we didn't have that on, we just go straight through the other side. So we want to turn clipping on and then just pull it down. Now we've got a closed shape like that. Now I did say we're going to have a problem here. It looks okay, but this is actually bad geometry here. And I'll show you why. So if we tab into edit mode, go to face selection and select this face, and I just pull it away, you can see we've got this face there and here, and this one here, which doesn't really cut into this one. So we need to fix that. Let's undo that. There's a quick fix to this. First of all, let's select these. Let's just delete these two, actually. For now, let's delete these faces so we can see what we're doing. There's our hole. We want to create a join for these edges because at the moment they're disconnected. You can see if I move them out, it's all a bit of a mess. So we can easily fix this by pressing Ctrl R to add a loop cut along the center or the side of that object, right? I'm going to click that, so I'll leave it there in the middle. Now we've got this edge here. This is really messy. You can see we've got duplicates everywhere. It's not ideal at all. So anyway, select this edge again. So I'm going to hold down Alt and click on the loop cut we just selected. I don't know why it's created one there. It shouldn't really do that. If I switch to face mode and select face there, we know there's a face in there because if I do that, you can see it does this. So we know we have faces in here, but we can't see them. Let's turn off the mirror modifier. And I'm going to switch to wireframe mode. You can see there we've got these dots. These are the faces we don't need. So let's select this one and press delete. What happens if you select this one and press delete? Yeah, that's fine. You see the same on the other side. Select that one there, press delete, and this one, press delete. So these are not faces there, they're supposed to be edges. That's why you have these dots. They shouldn't be just dots, right? So now all we need to do now is make sure this edge line that goes all the way around our object is at this point there. And that's very easy to do. If I hold down Alt and select the whole loop cut, sorry, the edge loop, I'm going to move this up and snap it to that vertex there. So if I click on the blue arrow, hold down Control to start snapping. And of course, we've got vertex snapping there. That will snap it to that vertex there. Now that hasn't fixed everything because all we've done is move stuff. There's still two vertices here in the same space. Quick fix, select everything by pressing the A key. And I'm going to click on Merge by Distance on my add-on, just there. You can see we've removed two vertices. If I select this one now, now you can see that's joined nicely, and the same with that one there. Again, if you don't have the add-on, select all vertices and then press M for Merge by Distance. We've got to fill the gap here. So let's select this edge here, and if we press the F key, it doesn't really work. It doesn't create a face for us. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to press E to extrude, and then hold down Control and snap it to that vertex there. Now we can select this face, that face, sorry, not face, edges. Press the F key to fill it. Now that looks great, but again, if I drag this one out, you can see we have a gap. So again, I'm going to select everything by pressing the A key, and I'm going to press the M key, Merge by Distance. We've removed one vertex this time, which is that one there. Now we've just got the one in that space. The only last thing we need to check is face normals or orientation. We haven't checked any of that right yet. And if I turn off the wireframe, now in this menu here, you can see we've got face orientation. If I select that, we have one red element there. This is fine because this is actually inside the model. If I turn on the mirror modifier, you can see it's all blue, which is good. That's normal face orientation. And that will cause problems for us if we don't rectify things like this and fix them. On my add-on, I'm going to turn on face orientation, just a quick shortcut there instead of going here. To fix everything in one go, I'm going to press the A key and click on recalculate normal. And to do the same thing, if I undo that, with everything selected, press the Alt-N key, so Alt-N, that will bring up the normals menu, recalculate outside. There we go. On my add-on, I've just called it recalculate normals or normal. That does the same thing. Right, I think I'll leave it there in this video, part 1, and I'll catch you in part 2. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.